Okay guys, this is a Cold Steel Tomahawk. Cold Steel Tomahawk. And this is pretty much the way it comes. The handle looks pretty nice on it. The grain on the handle of this one is vertical, which generally don't see that, and that's just a rarity, because you want the grain vertical with the axe face right here. And this is Cold Steel, and it runs, I think I paid like for two of them, you can buy them for like $50. They're about $25, $23, and that's pretty cheap. And it's got the hammer. This one is really light, and this edge right here is not very big, but it's a good chopping type of tomahawk, and it's really light. It's got a set screw right here to hold this on. Most people take out the set screw, and they take out the set screw, and then you just bang it down, and the axe head will come, or the tomahawk head will come down, and it slides off. What happens is that you might be able to see it right here, is that the handle tapers wider up here, and that's what holds the tomahawk head on. So these are real popular in the sense too. I mean, they function pretty well. If you look at the reviews on them, they function pretty well for the money. That's a great deal. Most people will sand this down, and they'll take all the paint off of this and redo this, blue it. There are different colors of blue. You can get kind of a plum blue and a blue like a blue for a rifle, and you can kind of make this a little more fancy looking and make it look older. And then you can put Indian prints and stuff on the handle right here and stain over it. And some people even take a Dremel tool and make some designs in it, and then it looks really authentically old. And that's at least 14-inch handle. Big difference between the Cold Steel $25 one and the CRKT. I got the video on that one. Now here's the CRKT, which is like $45. For another $20, you could get this bad boy here. And you put these together, and the axe head handles close to the same, and the blade is a lot bigger on the CRKT, and that hammer part of the CRKT here compared to this hammer is a lot bigger, and this one feels like it weighs almost half of what this one weighs. This weighs 2 pounds, I think. And the Cold Steel is a much smaller version of, well, I say much smaller. It's about 1/3 smaller than the CRKT. And you can tell that the CRKT is heavy made compared to the Cold Steel. Cold Steel is very functional, and it's light, and if you're hiking or something like that, you want something light. And you generally want to have an extra handle for Cold Steel and CRKT. If you throw them, you're eventually going to break them or split them or something, so it's good to have an extra handle for them. So we'll check it out and see how it throws too. But the CRKT is a little bit heavy, but you can tell this is really solid steel on it, and this is fairly thin steel on this one compared to the two, but very functional, very lightweight, and there's a lot you can do with this. Okay guys, here's the difference between the Cold Steel Tomahawk with a hammer end on the back of it, and the CRKT Tomahawk, which is in the middle with a hammerhead. there's a big difference between the CRKT in the middle and the Cold Steel ones. The CRKT is a beast. It is a very heavy compared to the Cold Steel. Look how thick the steel is right here on the head and how thick it is here, and the blade is longer and the handle's heavier. Now the handle on the Cold Steel is longer. I think it's 19 inches, something like that. But the head is real lightweight, and it's real thin. The metal's real thin. It's not like a wedge or anything on the head of it. And the hammer itself is pretty small. You see I put my thumb over the hammer right here. And I mean, that is pretty small hammer. The one on the CRT is about as wide, but it's about 1.5 times longer in height. And you can see the difference in thickness there, the hammers. This is super light compared to this one. And again, the handles on it, you can see the Cold Steel is a little bit longer handle, but this hickory handle here appears to me to be a lot stronger looking than the Cold Steel. Paying about $20 more for this one, the CRKT, which I think is well worth the money. And the Cold Steel here is like $25, $23 for the Cold Steel Tomahawk, the whole Tomahawk. And this one's about $45 for the whole Tomahawk. So this is a little bit heavier to tote around. This one you can, well, like both of them, you can strip the paint off of the heads of them and make them look old style, and redo the handles and make those look old, and put Indian patterns and varnish them and all that, or stain them. So a lot of things you can do with them that way. So that's one of the big differences, about $20 difference. If you were just going to have one Tomahawk, and certainly go with the CRKT Tomahawk, and over the Cold Steel one. Both of them are good, and both of them are, will function really well. But this one, the heavy duty, this is a lot heavier duty. The CRKT with the silver or gray looking head. So that's what I wanted to show you. But you can get two of these for the price of one of these, basically. Like $25 for this one, this Cold Steel one. So just want to let you see that kind of the difference there. Okay, guys, we're going to be throwing a few things. The CRKT Tomahawk. That was a good throw. Another Cold Steel. Go a little bit higher up. That was a good throw, wasn't it? Okay, that's our two Cold Steel and one CRT Tomahawk. Both of those actually stuck in at the same distance. So for our next throw, we're going to move up, but I'm not going to throw. I got two hatchets, but I can't throw them because I know I'm going to split the handle on one of these. Okay, so I'll grab the hatchets next. We'll take a look at these. You can kind of see where they stuck in. The handles look really good on them. You want the handles close to vertical. That's a perfect throw when they're vertical. Those right there are not far off at all. That's pretty good. And pretty close to being in alignment too. So The Cold Steel and the CRKT Tomahawks throw really well. Now, I can tell you that this is the Cold Steel up here, the whiter handle. You got to throw those a little bit harder to make them stick, but the one on the bottom with the darker handle, that's the CRKT. That one is a lot heavier, so you don't have to do anything to that one. That thing will sink in. Now we're going to throw this hatchet here. It's top heavy. Just want to show you, you can throw any kind of hatchet and you can make them stick. And then we got our Ozark Trail. Okay, Ozark Trail, the orange handle one first. Our other hatchet, it's top heavy. That's a pretty good stick. And then we have some of our knives right here. These are the Cold Steel knives. Go above the hatchet. It's not too bad. Our hatchets did pretty good. Got those almost in alignment there. And Cold Steel knives, like a little bit of an overthrow, a little bit of underthrow, a little underthrow. This one's closer to being more perfect. If I throw the knives first, I have to step back about 1.5 feet to throw the hatchets. Then I got to step back about 4 feet to throw the tomahawks. So that's kind of the fun. Once you measure it off, it's not hard. Okay, guys. Gonna be throwing Cold Steel Tomahawk. And the CRKT. And our trusty Ozark Trail. And our trusty hatchet here. And our knives. One out of 4. and our trusty Ozark trail. And a trusty hatchet here. And our knives. Okay. That's not too bad. Kind of walk the tree, and these white handle ones, that's the Cold Steel and CRKT Tomahawk, and our hatchet, and then our knives. Knife group is not too bad, but it's all fun, you know, to be out here just goofing around and playing with tomahawks, hatchets, and knives, and need to pull out the axe. Axes are not hard to stick either. Okay guys, thanks for watching.